happy to be outside in nature this morning. I've been having a lot of stress in my life. Not really any more than usual. Not really any different than anybody else's. But it's been getting to me a little bit more than usual, or than I'd like. We could wonder if it's the pandemic just continuing to slog on and weigh on me. I'm trying to lay plans for the future. I finally got clear on what the future wants to be for me, and that's thrilling and exciting, and dude, then I have to make it happen. That's harder. I'm really great on concept, but the doing really wears on me. But I still hold the excitement over who I am and what I want to do with that. There's somebody doing what I assume is target shooting. If they're actually shooting at animals right now, it's kind of ridiculous. But between that and all the little birds, it's really noisy today in the woods. It's damp. It rained just about all day yesterday. Looks like it rained all night. And I don't know if the damp has an amplifying effect. The dead air but it's noisy. Also, because of the wet roads, I can hear traffic noise farther away from the road. One of the things I've gotten really firm on is that I want to coach. I want to help people who are in the same position as I was. Just totally burnt out on trying to do what you're supposed to do. Trying to do what we're supposed to do in life. You name it. All those things that you say to yourself. I should, or I need to, or I have to, or what we should look like, what we should do, who we should associate with, how much money we're supposed to have, what things we're supposed to own. It just about killed me. And dug myself out of it. And it took me, I was realizing it the other day, it took me 8 or 10 years of trying to figure out what career I should change to that would actually make me happy. As if what you do with your days is gonna just all of a sudden make you happy when nothing else is good. And then I spent a year or two just crashing down to the bottom. And then 4, 5, 6 years building myself up to where I am now. And holy moly, that's a long time. I wish that I had had somebody to, show me a different pathway. short circuit some of that. But you know, one of the things about going into business for yourself is that you have to sell what you supply. Oh, I worked retail for years. In that, I will, have a job and a house and a husband, and I will look the way I'm supposed to look. I thought that I was done selling. When we think of sales, we think of car salesmen. Or at least I do. Let's make this about me, not about we. When I think of sales, I think of car salesmen. I think of, the stuff we were interested in on a website, and gave them our email, and now we get hordes of emails that we never look at. I never look at. I even get text messages. Makes me feel gross to have to think about selling this amazing thing that I want to supply people with. I want to give it to people, but there's so many buts there. There's the fact that if you offer something for free, people don't take it as seriously. They don't put in as much work. It's not as impactful, and it's ridiculous that that's true, and yet I have found it all the way along for me. There's the fact that I want to do this and not have to scramble to pay my bills by, eking out whatever job somebody will pay me to do. So it's on my end too. So what I want to do is I want to just make a beautiful website and tell people about it on Facebook, and then just, let it happen. Rake in the clients that I can help. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It's not how things work. Back to the freaking sales. As I got out onto this walk, so the sales thing is like foremost on my mind right now. Selling myself, selling my product, figuring out what my product is so that I can tell people about it. And then I headed out. I'm going to stop right here for a second because this woods doesn't smell this way just 'cause. It smells like this. Well, partially it's accentuated because it's damp. But it smells like this because the trees are advertising and decomposing, obviously. But Everything out there advertises all the time. Poisonous, toxic, venomous animals advertise that they're lethal so that they can go about their business and be left alone. You know, a huge bit of sales and advertising in the natural world, you know, I would probably say 95% of it, I don't know, pulling that out of my ass, is about sex and reproduction. Flowers are bright, but it's like way beyond what we can see. You know, they've got ultraviolet, and I just think it's ultraviolet. They have colors outside of what we can see. Practically glow to bees and other pollinators. They're advertising, they're selling their product as hard as they can. Come, drink from me. I have this awesome stuff that you want. On the offhand chance that you will take some of my stuff to the neighboring plant. Birds, those birds that I love so much. They chatter constantly. Like there's the mating calls, the territorial calls. Those are two different things, but, you know, also related to reproduction. But the displays and the calls that birds do just advertise themselves to the world. To the other little chickies around to get mates. Are the birds around? Hey, this is my territory, stay off. If we're going with that, think about deer and their antlers. All they're doing is demonstrating how strong and I don't know, laden with testosterone they are. But, you know, so the point is to fend off. The point is to impress the ladies and suggest to the other bucks that they're too strong to be taken on. You should just walk away and give me the does. And then, I don't know if you know how deer grow antlers, but they drop off every winter, and then they start growing again in the late spring. And they have this, it's called velvet, this skin that is over them as they grow. That's where the blood supply comes from. So the blood supply for antlers comes from the outside. And it grows and it takes the calcium out of their blood and bones and creates bone every single year. But then when their antlers are fully grown, they have to get that skin, that velvet, off. And so they thrash around in the trees and they rub and they, you know, and it's getting it off because it itches for sure, but the ulterior motive there is to advertise. They are advertising. They are just telling the world, or anybody who passes, any other buck who passes, any doe who passes, hey, I am big, I am strong, I am full of my manliness, and you, A, don't want to come anywhere near here, or B, you want to chase me down. Bears, cats, house cats, but also like big cats, will mark on trees, and sometimes, you know, we think of that, we learn early that that's so that they're marking their territory so that other animals don't come in their territory. But there's a lot of overlap, so a lot of that it's a chemical letter. It's just, this is who I am, this is how big I am, this is how long ago I was here. So if it was really recent, maybe you want to go the other way, because, you know, it takes a lot of energy to fight. And we're really just trying to survive and reproduce. So if we're fighting, you know, that could end really badly for one or both of us, and I'm close. You don't want to be here. But like, as I'm out here, I'm looking at all kinds of things that remind me of how the natural world is all into sales and advertising. And I feel slimy for advertising and selling myself. But it's the most natural thing in the world. And granted, I'm not trying to sell myself to reproduce. On a animal level, I'm trying to parse that out on a animal natural level. I'm not trying to reproduce. I'm trying to sell myself and my skills to the world. And I'm trying to advertise to specifically the people who would benefit the most from me and my skills. I'm trying to sell those things so that I can continue living. I guess it's just my decision to try to make sure that my selling and my advertising is the least, I don't know, it's the most me that I can make it. And it's not over any top that I am not willing to go past. I mean, everybody's got their threshold, right? There's a flock of mallards that just got kicked up by me, but not very far. They went like 100 yards. And just went right back down. And I was just thinking about how all domestic ducks breeds are, except for the Muscovy, are based on the mallard duck. And I think that's really interesting. So like Peking duck is a breed, domesticated breed of mallard. It's just so interesting. Another case of me going out into nature and working through something. Just all of a sudden I'm peaceful. Part of it's the water and the pretty scenery. Part of it's that I just came to a conclusion. Selling and advertising is natural. Truly is like the basis of how this world exists, how nature exists. Everything living does that. And I don't have to do it the way that everybody else does it. I don't have to do it the way that anybody else does it. But it's not bad. Talk to you later.